One of the big innovations of Nolan Group for model year 2021 is the change of its X-lite top flip-up model. The previous one, the X-1004, was totally changed to a brand new one, the X-1005, and this is not only a facelift, because this is a totally new model with a lot of innovations. We will check the previous version and the new one as well. It has several pieces put out here, and we are going to show you what kind of innovations this X-1005 has. Just as in the case of the previous generation, the new X-1005 also has two different shell materials. Let's say the basic one is a tri-composite. This is what I'm keeping in my hand. It's very important, and the basic is a tri-composite, which is absolutely a top shell material, but it's also available, just as the previous model, in ultra carbon version, which means that you can save approximately 50 grams in the weight of the shell of the helmet. And of course, in these helmets from outside you can clearly see that this is made from carbon. As inside the Nolan Group, X-lite was originally constructed for the racetracks world. All of these models, even the flip-up ones, clearly made for as aerodynamic as just possible. So even this old one, the X-1004, is a double XL, so XXL, so the biggest shell size, and even this one is a pretty compact helmet. The new one is an M size, a medium one, and it is even much more compact, and we can see that, for example, development was between the two versions, that the higher a pretty important innovation on the new model is that the visor was absolutely reconstructed. It's also working on the same way that the turning point of the visor is positioned relatively high in the old model and in the new model as well. But in the new model, which is a very important thing, that the pin lock lens inside, so which makes the lens of the visor of the X-lite absolutely fog resistant and fog free. It's extremely big, so there are really only a few millimeters around it, all around, which are not absolutely clear from the fog. So it's a much better construction than the previous one was. And it's also really important that the visor itself became bigger horizontally and vertically as well, so you can see a bigger area in the new version than in the previous one. The visor's mechanical part is absolutely new, because in the old version it was the, let's say, classic X-lite system, that when you push the middle of the you push the turning point of the visor, then it is coming down, and there is a little switch on the side of on the left side of the visor, with which you can reach that on one way it's absolutely closing down, and if you change the position of this little switch, then there is a little area where the air can go in. So for example, in big hot, you can get a little bit more air on your face on a way like this, and when you close it, also with this switch you can fix it absolutely, so it cannot be opened. This is the way why it is racetrack homolog. In the X-1005 it is much easier and much more simple, because there are no so many things around it. To remove the visor, it's a, let's say, more conventional system. You just have to pull this little part and it's immediately down, so it's very easy, but not with pushing the middle point. And there is not this small switch as well, because when you close the visor, then this small little air intake line is here, and when you push it with bigger power, then it's closing down, and on this way it is absolutely good for a racetrack, even if you wish. So let's check out how the X-lite X1005 is working in the reality. We are going to check it out on a big scooter, BMW C400 GT, which has a pretty similar wind protection to the biggest part of the, let's say, touring bike. So it makes some turbulence noise, but we do not have too much wind coming into our face. Let's check out how is it working on this bike. First of all, I close down the visor of the helmet only until before the closing moment. So here there is a little line where the air is able to come into my face, and I just came out from the city. Sorry, I close all the other intakes, so the air is now coming only under the visor. And for a moment I'm going to stand up a little bit to check it out. It's coming pretty feelable, let's say between my nose and my mouth, and so the whole width is coming into my face. When I close it down, then this air intake absolutely stopped. So now it is totally closed. Related to the chin guard itself and its mechanism, it's a little bit different, the old and the new model, because in the old one it had a different axle than the visor. On this way they could reach that when we open the chin guard, then it's not positioned too high above your head. In the case of the new version, the X1005, we cannot see another axle, so to be honest, from the point of the clearness of the design, this is a little bit nicer and better construction than the X1004. And when you open it, it is moving the chin guard in an elliptical way, like this, you can see. And with this, they really reach that when you ride your bike with your new X1005 on a way that the chin guard is lifted up, then it really makes the less available turbulence and moving your neck and anything like this. Because this helmet, just as all the Nolan Group products, is also homologized for opened and closed, as an opened and a closed helmet as well. I'm going to check how is it working when I open up the chin guard. So is it possible to feel it while riding with a little bit higher speed? So now I open it and speed up. Meanwhile, I'm not going to speak. Well, I have to say that it's really not possible to feel. Wowzers, car is just overtaking in front of me. So honestly, it was absolutely not possible to feel that it was opened at a speed of 85-90 kilometers per hour. The turbulence is just coming into this haze, but it was not moving my head at all. So the aerodynamic forms of this chin guard, and that it is not lifting up too much high, it's really very efficient. For a helmet to reach the allowances to be wearable as an open face and a closed face helmet, it's necessary to have a switcher with which you can close or fix the chin guard when it is opened up. So on a way like this, even in the previous X-lite, it was available with this small switch, but this is a black one and not very easily and clearly seeable. So for example, if somebody is not knowing this model, maybe he or she doesn't know what this thing is for, and in a case of an accident, for example, it can be important. And it is a really important thing that as the new Nolan, X-lite X1005 is built according to the ECE 2206 standards. For example, the small switch is much well seeable and it is built from red material. This can be important, and this shows a lot about the safety of the new X-lite as well. And I'm going to turn around in this roundabout, and while riding backways the sun is going to shine into my face, so I can check the inner sunglass of the X-lite. Let's check out. I have to find all these things in the mirror. So it's coming down 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 and 5, and it's absolutely down now. It's coming down totally enough, so it's very clear. Even the dashboard of the motorbike I can see through the sunglass, and the color is a very fine gray color. I'm now riding absolutely facing to the sun, and it's really very comfortable, this sunglass, and it can be opened like this, only pushing one button. As in all the other X-lite models and all the Nolan Group productions, the safety is a very important thing. You can find a lot of places where really the new X1005 is also built according to the highest safety standards. For example, you cannot open the chin guard or lift up the chin guard all of a sudden, because you have to lift out one of these red buttons, and then with one hand only, but 2 fingers, you have to push down another one, and on only a way like this you can open up the chin guard. So all of a sudden openings are not possible. And also the closing around the neck is absolutely safe, because it has a Microlock 2 closing system, which means that it is not enough one movement to open it, because you have to lift up this little red thing and then lift up the iron one, and only afterwards you can open the Microlock. So with one movement, without you want it, it's never going to be opened. There are also some innovations in the lining, because in the previous one, the X1004, there was existing this carbon fiber material lining, which is maybe the best material for a helmet lining, but only in the case of the ultra carbon shell, so the top models. In the case of the X1005, this carbon fiber lining became standard, so in all the models, even the tri-composite shell ones, are this this lining is built up. And also an innovation that in the X1005 already you can find the LPS, the lining positioning system. We already made a review about or a demonstration about it. You can find the link of it here, and it means that you can really fit the whole lining to your head form with pulling one small material here in the back of it, and as it is moving on a Y form, it's much better fitting to your head than the previous ones. Now the windshield is totally closed, it's important, and I open the... just one moment. Yes, I opened the mouse intaker. Well, I'm going to stand up again because I do not feel too many air coming in. Well, I'm riding 90 kilometers per hour, and honestly, to open this intake doesn't make too much difference when the windshield is not absolutely closed, but until this pre-closed position, it's more efficient than this one here in front of my mouse. Sorry, and when I turn back, I'm going to check finally the top air intake of the ventilation, which is above my head. That has 2 different steps. So when I could increase my speed again, then I open it first to the first position. It makes a very well feelable, approximately I would say 9 to 10 centimeters big area, which gets pretty much air even in this first position. And now I open it to the bigger one. Well, the air intake became much more efficient, and even the area is bigger. It's somewhere around 13-15 centimeters, and a lot of air is coming on the top of my head. And there is also some change around the collar, which is covering your neck. because here in the case of the X-1005 it's absolutely built on a way that it has to close as good as just possible around your neck, so as little turbulence air can go up as just possible, and they reached it on a way that this little piece is built together with this collar closing part of the collar. So when you close the micro lock and you close it enough, then it really always touches your necks and minimizes the turbulence noises. In the case of the previous model, it was built on a different way, so here it was not as good construction as in the case of the new one, although we have to say that this whole collar can be removed with the zipper in the X-1004, which is not available, this feature. The new one is silent according to all the circumstances, even when it is very hot. In the case of the X-1005, the only way you can reach that you get more air when it is extremely hot, then the back protector can be removed and then you get more air from the direction of your chin. Nolan Group always thought about riders with glasses and riders wearing not this helmet-ready eyewear what I wear. So in the case of the X-1004, there was the place for the eyewear, so you can push it in easily until your ear. In the case of the X-1005, it's a different thing because you cannot see this part, but this is also a glass friend, let's say, helmet, because from under the lining you can remove a little soft piece, and then there is already place for your glasses, but without removing them it doesn't make any kind of extra noise when you ride with a lifted up chin guard. In the case of the previous one, unfortunately, it always made some noise. So all in all, we can say that the new X-lite X-1005 is a pretty good top premium helmet for the touring riders, so the motorbike tourers. The feeling is very light, the aerodynamic form is very good. The only thing which maybe could be better is the air intake in front of your mouth. That was not really effective. All the other things are absolutely reaching that level which normal motorbike tourer can be weighed, so it's really a good helmet to think about it if you want to buy something like this.
If you liked our review, please push a thumb up on it, donate our work, subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents as well, and thanks a lot for your kind attention.